Good afternoon friends, welcome back to the YouTube channel The Guide. Please subscribe the YouTube channel The Guide and share, and please share my channel videos to your friends also. Dear friends, this is Ramesh, Faculty of Biology. Today I am going to explain the introduction of nutrition and modes of nutrition. This topic is very useful for 7th class and 10th class students. Okay, today I am going to explain the modes of nutrition. So before going to explain the modes of nutrition, I wanted to recall the nutrition. What is nutrition? What is nutrition? So I wrote on the board. So please look at the board. Dear students, what is nutrition? So the process of providing or obtaining food necessary for health and growth is called nutrition. Dear friends, so this topic, from this topic 2 to 3 DSC bits will come. Listen carefully and pay the concentrate. So listen, coming to the point, what is nutrition? The process of providing or obtaining food necessary for health and growth is called nutrition. So earlier classes we have learned already about different food components are present in food. So the food components are nothing but nutrients. So here, what are nutrients? A substance that provides nourishment to the living organisms is called nutrients. Again I am repeating, a substance that provides nourishment to the living organisms is called nutrients. So nutrients are the materials that provides nutrition to organisms. Actually, there are two types of nutrients: macronutrients, micronutrients. So macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. So here the nutrients are there: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. So here carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are, how these carbohydrates are formed? The group of compounds of carbohydrates to form carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So carbohydrates are made up of with carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So here there are two types of carbohydrates: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. So what are the simple carbohydrates and what are the complex carbohydrates? The simple carbohydrates are glucose, fructose, galactose, ribose and deoxyribose. Glucose, fructose, galactose, ribose, deoxyribose. These are the examples of simple carbohydrates. And what are the complex carbohydrates? The complex carbohydrates are glucose, sucrose, lactose, galactose and starch, cellulose. Complex carbohydrates: sucrose, lactose, glycogen, starch, cellulose. This cellulose is unable to digest in the human body. This cellulose is only digested in animal body. Okay, so these are the carbohydrates. Okay, clear? So next, proteins. So carbohydrates are energy giving foods. Actually, we generally are telling carbohydrates are energy giving foods. So these carbohydrates gives us instant energy. And next, proteins. Proteins are the bodybuilding foods. The proteins helps us to build up the body and repair. So the proteins are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, sulfur also. So, and amino acids. So, the proteins are formed by amino acids, sulfur, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. So, here there are 24 amino acids are present in our nature. Nearly 24 amino acids are present in nature. In these 24 amino acids, 20 amino acids are present in proteins. The 20 amino acids are synthesized by the proteins. And next, coming to the point, fats. How these fats are made up of? The fats are made up of with carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, fatty acids, glycerol. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, fatty acids and glycerol. By using these, the fats are formed. Actually, at the 20 degrees Celsius, the fats are in a solid state. And next, coming to the point, micronutrients. So, the micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals. So, actually, vitamins and minerals keeps us healthy. Vitamins and minerals keeps our body healthy. Actually, there are two types of vitamins. So, fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. The fat soluble vitamins are A, D, E, K. A, D, E, K. The scientific name of A is retinol. The scientific name of D is calciferol. The scientific name of E, tocopherol. The scientific name of K, piloquinine. So, all these nutrients, about all these nutrients, the complete details I will give you, I will explain in the next class. So, just I wanted to recall about nutrients. So, next class, one by one, I will explain carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals, one by one, I will explain in the next class. Just recall this is. So, these are the fat soluble vitamins. And next, water soluble vitamins. The water soluble vitamins are B complex and C. B complex and C. In B complex, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B7, B9, B12 and C. So, we are ready to learn these type of vitamins in our lessons. In our classes like 7th and 10th class lessons, we are ready to learn these. Okay, listen. So, these are the vitamins. And next, coming to the point, minerals. So, nearly 50 minerals, 50 types of minerals are present in human body. So, some of the minerals I will tell. So, potassium, sodium, calcium, molybdenum, selenium, zinc, copper, fluorine. So, these are some of the examples of minerals. Okay, clear? So, this is the brief introduction of nutrients. The complete details I will explain to the coming session. Listen. Now I am going to explain the topic modes of nutrition. Modes of nutrition. Actually, there are two modes of nutrition. First one is autotrophic nutrition, and second one is heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, listen. I will write on the board. You can write. Okay, students, there are two modes of nutrition, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition. So, in this, autotrophs, auto means self, trophos means feeders, self feeders. Autotrophs means auto, self, trophos, feeders. So, self feeders means autotrophs. The autotrophic plants means the autotrophs are prepared their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Autotrophs are prepared their own food. Self. Auto means self. Means own. They will prepare their own food. That's why we are calling autotrophs. The best example of autotrophs, plants. So, and some organisms like algae, blue-green algae. So these and euglena. So these organisms, these autotrophs can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So here, what is meant by photosynthesis? So the process by which green colored plants, the process by which green plants and some other organisms utilize sunlight to synthesize nutrients from carbon dioxide and water is called photosynthesis. Again, I am repeating the definition of photosynthesis. So, the process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize nutrients from carbon dioxide and water is called photosynthesis. So, by this process, the plants are preparing their own food. By this photosynthesis, the autotrophs are preparing their own food. Okay, so this autotrophic nutrition is two types: photoautotrophic nutrition and chemoautotrophic nutrition. Chemoautotrophic nutrition also there, I will tell you. So, photoautotrophic nutrition. Photo means light, autotrophic same. So, under the light condition, they will prepare their own food. So, they will use light as an energy source. They will use solar energy. These plants will use solar energy as a source of energy. So, what is the source of energy for plants? Yes, sun is the source of energy. So, photoautotrophic nutrition examples are all green plants and purple, red and green colored bacteria are the examples of photoautotrophic nutrition. And next, chemoautotrophic nutrition. Chemo means chemical. Chemo means chemical. So listen. Chemoautotrophic nutrition. Chemo means chemical. The chemical synthesizing is takes place. The examples of nitrifying bacteria, examples of chemoautotrophic nutrition: nitrifying bacteria, iron bacteria, sulfur bacteria. So listen carefully. Here, look at the board. I wrote the definition of photosynthesis. The process by which green, listen, the process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize nutrients from carbon dioxide and water is called photosynthesis. Okay, here chemoautotrophic nutrition. So chemoautotrophs use inorganic energy source. Chemoautotrophs use inorganic energy source to synthesize organic compounds from carbon dioxide. Have you understood? Again I am repeating. So chemoautotrophs use inorganic energy source to synthesize organic compounds from carbon dioxide. That is the chemoautotrophic nutrition. So the examples of chemoautotrophic nutrition is nitrifying bacteria, iron bacteria and sulfur bacteria. So nitrifying bacteria get energy by these sources. So the nitrifying bacteria and iron bacteria and sulfur bacteria. Okay. The nitrifying bacteria get energy by oxidation of inorganic substances. So these are the examples of nitrifying bacteria, chemoautotrophs. And chemoautotrophs also there. Chemoautotrophs. So what is here? Chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs unable to utilize carbon dioxide to form chemoautotrophs unable to utilize carbon dioxide to form their own organic compounds. So, what is their carbon source? Their carbon source is rather derived from sulfur carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. This is about chemoautotrophs, chemoautotrophs. So these are the types of autotrophic nutrition. So next, coming to the point, heterotrophic nutrition. Hetero means others, prophos, feeders. So these heterotrophs will eat other animals. So for example, lion, tiger, fox, wolf, like these animals will eat other animals So hetero means others. Prophos means feeders. They will eat other animals. So they will depend upon the other animals for food. So that is heterotrophic nutrition. So who are eating other animals? They are the heterotrophs. Here some type of heterotrophic nutritions are there. So the following heterotrophic nutritions are parasitic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition, symbiotic nutrition, insectivorous nutrition, holozoic nutrition. So in this, the first one is parasitic nutrition. Para means beside. Para means beside. Side, food. Side means food. So they will eat their besides animals. They will eat their besides plants food. For example, the best example of parasitic nutrition, cuscuta. So actually, what is parasitic nutrition? Organisms which depend on organisms which depend on other organisms for food and shelter is called parasitic nutrition. So organisms which depends on other organisms for food and shelter is called parasitic nutrition. The best example of parasitic nutrition is Cuscuta, Vorabalke, Loranthus, Santana. You well known about Cuscuta. The genus of Cuscuta is Dodder. Generally we are calling the general name of Cuscuta is Amarbel. The genus of Cuscuta is Dodder. Genus. So generally we are calling Amarbel. The local name of Cuscuta is Amarbel. Okay, clear? So for example, this is one of the plant. Okay. So Cuscuta plant is looking like creeper. So the Cuscuta is growing like this. This is Cuscuta. So actually the Cuscuta plant didn't have rootless. It is a rootless plant, but some hairy-like projections arise from their body, that Cuscuta body. Some hairy-like projections arise from that Cuscuta plant body. So these are the hostorias. These are the hostorium or hostoria. So these hostoriums, they are looking like roots, fetal-like projections arising from the Cuscuta plant. These hostoria structures are helping for this plant to climb up the another plant. These hostoria structures are helping to this Cuscuta to absorption of food materials from the host plant. These hostoria structures will help the Cuscuta plant to climb up the any other plant. These hostoria are helping to this plant to secretion, absorption of nutrients from this host plant. So this Cuscuta is completely depending on the other plant stem. So this Cuscuta nutrition is parasitic nutrition. The Cuscuta nutrition is parasitic nutrition because of already explained you. So what is parasitic nutrition? Organisms which depend on other organisms for food and shelter. So this Cuscuta plant food and shelter is other plant. That's why this Cuscuta is source parasitic nutrition. And next, Vorabanke is another type of plant. For example, this is one plant, another plant root. So these plant roots this is one of the plant. So on this plant some plants will come. These are the Vorabanke. So other plant stems, the Cuscuta plants are growing. The Cuscuta is growing on other plant stems. So Vorabanke is growing on other plants' roots. So from these roots, this Vorabanke is absorbing the nutrients from this plant. So how this Vorabanke is growing? This Vorabanke is growing on the other plants' roots. So from the other plant roots, this Vorabanke is absorb the nutrients, means food materials. So like this way, this Vorabanke is depending on other plant. So this Vorabanke is depending on other plant for food and shelter. So this type of nutrition is parasitic nutrition. At the same time, Loranthus and Santarum. So Loranthus, the plant branch of the plants, it will grow a fiber-like substance. So for example, this is one plant. So on this plant, a fiber-like substance like structures these. So like this way, the Loranthus plants, they are looking like fiber. So they are growing the tip of the branch of other plants. So they will grow like this. So these are the Loranthus plants. And Santalum, so like cashew nut plants, there no on the cashew nut plants branches, these plants will grow. So finally, all these plants are growing to other plants for food and shelter. This type of mode is parasitic nutrition. This type of nutrition is parasitic nutrition. And next, coming to the point of saprophytic nutrition. Sapros means rotten. Phyton means plant. Saprops means protein, phyton means plant. So these saprophytic plants will eat rotten, I mean dead and decaying matter. So I will tell you. So organisms which depend on dead and decaying matter is called saprophytic nutrition. So these saprophytes will absorb the nutrients and food materials from the which are dead and decaying matter. So they are completely depending on dead and decaying matter. Where the dead and decaying matter and where the rotten materials are there, on that dead and decaying matter they will use and they will grow. So these saprophytic plants will grow with by eating of dead and decaying matter. The examples of saprophytic nutrition. So monotropa, Neosia, Agaricus, Rhizopus, Myocor. So the muddy water, the impurity of mud soils, they will grow. So Rhizopus. So you know already about this Rhizopus. Bread mold, there no, the bread. If you buy the bread and open it, and if you kept in the corner of the room to 1 week or 2 weeks, so after 1 or 2 weeks, if you observe that bread, a blackish colored mold will be grown on the bread. So in that bread mold, so these Rhizopus will grow. So they are looking like spoon-like structures. So the Rhizopus is growing on the bread. So the bread mold, black mold. And next, agaricus, mushrooms. So these mushrooms are growing on the where the dead and decay matter is there. So a very big trees, bark of the trees also, bark of the trees, these agaricus will grow. Mushrooms will grow on the bark of the big trees. Okay, this is about saprophytic nutrition. Next, symbiotic nutrition. Symbiotic. Actually, symbiosis means living together. Symbiosis means living together. So in this, symbiosis means living together. So lichens, symbiotic relationship, I mean symbiotic nutrition, lichens to root nodules. Root nodules. Mycorrhizae. Lichens, root nodules, mycorrhizae. So lichens, symbiotic means living together. Living together. The symbiotic plants are living together. For example, yes, the interaction between two different organisms. The symbiotic relationship means, or symbiotic nutrition means, the interaction between two living organisms. Two different living organisms. Interaction between two different organisms living in a close physical contact. So in this, here the symbiotic relationship, both organisms, I told now, the relationship between, the interaction between two different living organisms means here the two organisms will benefited. So there is a advantage between these two different organisms, that is the symbiotic relationship. So lichens, a very big trees falling down at the time of heavy rains, heavy winds. So those trees fall on the land, they will settle the number of years, number of months. So on the bark of the trees, the fungus will grow. By using of the fungus, a green colored structures means mass will grow on the bark of the trees. So in that the green colored mass is utilizing the fungus, and they will grow a patches like structures on the bark of the trees. So those patches like structures, those green colored patches like structures are called lichens. So here these green colored mass green color mass utilizing fungus. Here the relationship between algae and fungi. The relationship between is algae and fungi. So that is the symbiotic relationship. Here both algae and fungi are benefited. There is a advantage between these two different organisms. These are the algae. This is the algae. This is fungus. And next group notice actually Leguminaceae family. Leguminaceae. So the Leguminaceae family plants like peas, beans, groundnut. Peas, beans, groundnut. These are the belongs to Leguminaceae family plants. So here the root nodules, the groundnut root nodules. On the groundnut root nodules, the bacteria will grow. The bacteria name is Rhizobium. The bacteria name is Rhizobium. So the Rhizobium bacteria is growing on the root nodules of the groundnut. So what is the role of this Rhizobium bacteria? So this Rhizobium bacteria is depending on the root nodules, and then this Rhizobium bacteria traps the nitrogen from the atmosphere and fixes into the soil where the groundnut plants are growing. So the nitrogen fixation is done by Rhizobium bacteria. This Rhizobium bacteria is trapping the nitrogen from the atmosphere. Then these plants will grow properly because of actually the plants need to grow. The plants need to grow. The nitrogen is need to grow. Actually the plants need nitrogen. So by using nitrogen, the plants will grow properly. So then this Rhizobium bacteria is trapping nitrogen and fixing the nitrogen into these plants, and where the plants are growing in that soil, the nitrogen fixation takes place. So by using of the nitrogen, these plants are growing very well. So between Rhizobium bacteria and root nodules, there is a relationship. The relationship is called as symbiotic relationship. That is symbiotic nutrition. And next, mycorrhiza. What is that? Mycorrhiza. Here, so mycorrhiza. Look at the board. Mycorrhiza, a fungus which grows in association with the roots of plants in a symbiotic. A fungus which grows in association with the roots of a plant. So this is the one type of symbiotic nutrition. So next, insectivorous nutrition, and then holozoic nutrition. Before going to explain insectivorous nutrition, holozoic nutrition. So holo means whole. Holo means whole. Holo means whole. And next, joy cause animals. So here in this, the ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and digestion takes place. So ingestion, what is ingestion means? So the animals will take in food. They will take food and they will send into the mouth, and then next ingestion after taking food after digestion. The digestion means the food is converted into simple and soluble by the enzymes. So some enzymes, gastric juices, digestive juices and enzymes, HCl is present in our stomach. With the help of all these, the food is converted into simple and soluble. And next, absorption. What is that? Absorption. So in this, the food is simplified. Food is simplified in this absorption. And next, assimilation. So in that assimilation, the nutrients are converted into fluid and solid substances. So after completion of digestion, all the nutrients are converted into fluid-like substances. These fluid-like substances are mixed with blood, and then the blood is supplied the food materials, the nutrients to the various parts of the body. And next, finally, digestion. Finally, after completion of the digestion, the unwanted substances, undigested food is eliminated, removed from the digestion process, by the digestion process. So this is about holozoic nutrition. And last and final, insectivorous plants. So insectivorous plants. The nutrition is how the nutrition is takes place in insectivorous plants. Insectivorous. So Drosera. What is that? First one, Drosera. So Sunju. The general name is Sunju. Nepenthes is the pitcher plant. Next, Utrifilaria. Bladderwort. Next, Dionia. Venus flytrap. So these are some examples of insectivorous plants. Once look at the board. Okay, these are the some examples of insectivorous plants. So actually, insectivorous plants are specialized in trapping insects and are popularly known as insectivorous plants. So actually, these insectivorous plants are very different from natural plants in their mode of food nutrition. So, however, they never prey upon humans, at the same time large animals. So insectivorous plants can broadly divided into two active one and passive one. Active ones, passive ones. There are two types based on their method of trapping the food. Method of trapping food, the insectivorous plants are two types, active ones and passive ones. So active ones can close their leaf. Active ones can close their leaf, traps the movement insects land on them. So the insects actually mostly these insectivorous plants. So they will eat insects. So at the time of the insects will come. Why the insects are crawling on the plants? To suck the nectar. For the nectar purpose, they will come and they will suck the nectar from the plants or flowers. So at the time of insects, the insects will come and land on them. On the time, these insectivorous plants, leaves will close and send into their leaf and they can digest it. So the passive plants have a pitfall mechanism. They have a pitfall mechanism having some kind of jar or pitcher-like structures. So jar-like structures and pitcher-like structures. So at the time of when these insects are land on the leaves, land on these insectivorous plants. So on the surface of the leaf, surface of the insectivorous plants, a slippery substance is there. they are looking like slip. So slippery or slippery substance. So when the insect is crawled on that leaf or that plant, particular plant, the insects will slips and falls eventually and falls into that leaf, jar-like structures. So then these insectivorous plants will digest these. So these plants are usually associated with rainwater. Actually, insectivorous plants can be grown more than mostly these plants will grow the lack of nitrogen, where the nitrogen deficiency on those places these plants will grow. At the same time, nutrients poor soil and wetlands, sticky areas, they will grow. So in this, one of the example of insectivorous plants, Drosera and Alrovanda. Drosera, Drosera and Alrovanda. Drosera and Alrovanda. So Drosera and Alrovanda, these are the type of insectivorous plants. Drosera are these two plants, Drosera and Alrovanda, belongs to Droseraceae. So one of this family, Droseraceae. These two plants belongs to Droseraceae. Drosera, another name of Drosera is Sundew. Why does these plants are calling like Sundew? Why we are calling Sundew the Drosera plant? So these plants inhabit wet, infertile soils. They will grow wet, infertile soils and marshy lands. At the same time, Alrovanda is a free-floating plant. This is aquatic plant. Alrovanda is aquatic plant. Mostly this is grown in India. So Alrovanda is a free-floating, at the same time rootless plant. Alrovanda is rootless plant. So it occurs, Alrovanda plants will occur in the salt marshes of Sundarbans and freshwater south of Calcutta, and also some fresh waters. Also grows in the fresh water like tanks, rivers, ponds. So they will grow. So at the same time, some tentacle structures are there. Tentacles means pendular projections. So if the plant is looking like this, some tentacles will grow like this. Tentacles. So a finger-like projection will arise from this plant body. So these tentacles on the leaves secrete a sticky fluid that shines in the sunlight. Means I will show. So actually these plants tentacles will shine like this. For example, the sun is shining like this, no? So at the same time, in these plants also, these plants are shining like this, shining like the sun. So these plants shining like sun. That's why the name came. That name is, what is that? Sundew. What is that? Sundew. Have you clear? So sundew drops structure. Therefore, the Drosera are commonly known as sundew. And next, mechanism of Alrovanda. So on the leaf midrib are found some sensitive trigger heads. Alrovanda plants have some sensitive trigger heads. These two halves, the plant one side, this plant leaf, this side, one side leaf. So these two plants close along the midrib. So this side one, this is one, These two, they are close to the midrib. Along the midrib, the movement on insect comes into contact with the leaf and trapping the, so which the many insect will come and they will trap with the help of these structures. Okay, next coming to the point, Nepenthes. So Nepenthes plants are looking like a jar. So mostly these Nepenthes plants are growing in Assam country. Where they are growing? Assam. They are growing in Assam. And next, Nepenthes. So Nepenthes, the another name of Nepenthes is pitcher plant. What is that? Pitcher plant. So pitcher plant belongs to a family Nepenthaceae. Nepenthaceae. What is that? Nepenthaceae. The pitcher plant or Nepenthes belongs to Nepenthaceae family. The members of the family, one commonly known as pitcher plants. So because their leaves bar jar-like structures. So confined to the high rainfall, they will grow where the high rainfalls, plateaus, northeastern areas of altitudes ranging nearly 100 to 1500 meters. So particularly they will grow Garo, Khasi, Jaintia hills of Meghalaya. In those places they will grow mostly. So Nepenthes conifers to the pitfall type of trapping they have. So a honey-like substance is secreted from some type of glands are present in these Nepenthes plants. So by these glands, a honey-like substance will be secreted. At the same time, in these Nepenthes, so this is Nepenthes plant or pitcher plant. Okay, look at the picture. So the inner wall towards its lower half. So the number of glands in this, number of glands which secrete a proteolytic enzyme. This enzyme digests the body of the trapped insects and nutrients. So proteolytic enzyme, what is that? Proteolytic enzyme. So by this proteolytic enzyme, they can digest the insects. And next, Utricularia. What is that? Utricularia. The next insectivorous plant is Utricularia. So here, if the insects will come, if any insects will come, if the insect is crawling on this, the lid will be closed. Then the insect will fall down into this. Then the lid is closed, the insect is unable to come out. So that is the digestion of Nepenthes plant. And next, Utricularia plant. Utricularia or Pingicula. Utricularia and Pingicula. Utricularia and Pingicula. Utricularia and Pinguicula belongs to one of the family, that is Lenticulars. Lenticularaceae. So they belong to this family. So the bladder worts or Utricularia generally inhabit, they will grow in freshwater and wetlands and waterlands areas. Some species are associated with moist, moss-covered rock surfaces. So and some damp soils during rains. Utricularia in its bladder mouth has sensitive bristles of hairs. When an insect happens to contact these plants, so there is a door in these plants. Some leaves are looking like doors. So when the insect is contact these plants, automatically the bladder and the doors will open, then they will send into their body. So the door is shut down. Water when the door is shut down, the water fills the bladder. So then the enzymes are produced by this inner wall of this Utricularia plants. So this is about Utricularia. So next Pinguicula same. Pinguicula also same absorb, same capture the same trap the insects like this Utricularia. The Pinguicula is entire leaf. The Pinguicula entire leaf is works as traps. That leaf is working to trapping the insects only. When an insect lands on the leaf surface, it gets stuck in the sticky part. And next the leaf margins roll up the trapping the insects. So these plants leaves are rolled and then trap the insects. And last and final, Dionia. So the Dionia, other name is Venus flytrap. It is one type of carnivorous plants. So native to subtropical and wetlands on the east coast of United States in North Carolina and South Carolina. So these plants, Dionia plants catches the prey, chiefly insects and arachnids, with a trapping structure formed by the terminal portion of each of the plants and leaves. So which is triggered by tiny hairs. These tiny hairs are called trigger hairs or sensitive hairs. So these are the structures of insectivorous plants. So I explained some insectivorous plants. So all these plants are trapping the insects. So like this way. And then there is a medicinal importance of insectivorous plants. Okay, listen. So there is a medicinal importance. I mean the medicinal properties of insectivorous plants. So by using these insectivorous plants, the medicines are also preparing. So the medicinal properties of insectivorous plants are, so Drosera. Do you know Drosera? Yes, I will explain. The Drosera are capable to curdling of milk. And Nepenthes plant is a local medicine. Nepenthes plants is helping for local medicine to treat cholera, some type of liquid inside. Pitcher plant is useful for urinary troubles. Some cholera patients and urinary troubles. Some eye drops also making by using of Nepenthes plants. And Utricularia useful against the cough and dressing of wounds as a remedy for urinary diseases. So these are the medicinal properties of Utricularia. And last and final, Dionia. So Dionia, another name is Venus flytrap. So it's treat to stomach pains and eye troubles, urinary troubles. At the same time, the skin diseases. For skin diseases and urinary troubles, eye problems, the medicines will preparing by using of Dionia, Venus flytrap. Okay, so these are the modes of nutrition. So this is about the modes of nutrition. Dear students, I think you have understood. So yes, I wanted to conclude right now. So finally, I completed the modes of nutrition. So if you have any doubts, ask me. Okay, thank you.